have learned, if we've learned anything from history, it's that you have to ask Farage exactly what he means when he makes these big, grand ideas like Brexit, because Brexit wasn't scrutinised enough. It was offered up because politicians were scared of Farage. And then what happened? We basically, it was the biggest act of self-harm.
You just look at face at Lee Anderson, at Rupert Lowe. I'm not going to include Nigel Farage in this, but like people like a load of the Conservative Party, some of the they're so stupid.
Liz Truss.
Liz Truss is top of
she
the
made
politics.
Prime Minister.
Stupid.
One day they were watching me on Sky News and they filmed themselves watching me on Sky News and they were just like, "Oh, Zoe, oh, I don't like that shirt. It's not your colour, love." Like that.
We have to stop MPs being able to earn particularly more money. This is the bit that bothers. If they're earning more money doing another job, like logic dictates that they put more effort into the job that's paying them. For example, when Boris Johnson had the Telegraph column and they were paying him like 200 grand to do a Telegraph column and his salary as an MP was like 90k, which one do you think he cares more about? Welcome to the Politics of Podcast. I'm Ali Milani.
And I'm Zoe Grunewald.
And today we're doing the politics of your comments. We're going to be reacting to some of the comments that we've got on previous episodes. Zoe, are you excited about the prospect of...
No.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a question. You've been in the public spotlight a few years now. Journalists are very much in the public spotlight as well as politicians. How do you react to some of the comments you get?
Some things just really like throw me for a loop. Like most of the time it's fine. I get a lot of negative feedback, as you tend to be when you're
because positive feedback you don't get because people don't.
I do sometimes.
Oh, do you? Nice.
I do.
Must
I
be
sometimes
nice.
get emails
Must
from
be
people.
nice.
I sometimes get emails from people saying
Right.
they like what I've said or what I've done. Some man.
How does that make you feel? Like, does that?
Yeah, it's nice.
Put a pep in
Yeah,
your
it's
step,
good. Yeah. And then some. If someone just emails me being like, "You're annoying" or like, "Shut up" or whatever, I'm like, fine. It's when people are like, "You got that wrong. You're stupid. Like, why are you so stupid and vapid?" In fact, it really got to me the other day. I did a hit on LBC. I did an interview about second homes, where the MP should be landlords, and someone commented on a picture on my Instagram, like a picture from like weeks before, being like, "Bloody hell, you talk fast," and I was like,
So let's go through this. So they see you on LBC.
Yeah.
Then
they hear me on LBC.
They hear you on LBC. Then
They
they
didn't
pick up
see me.
They pick up the phone and they go, Zoe Grunewald.
Yeah.
And then they find your Instagram and then they go
And
to
they scroll back.
They scroll back.
And they find a photo.
And they find a photo and then they go, "You spoke too fast."
Yeah, you spoke too fast. That bothered me because I was like,
I don't think you
what do
speak particularly fast, by the way.
No, I mean, I think with radio it's harder because you like want to get your point across
Yeah.
and you get no cues from the presenter because you don't see them because you're like doing
especially
it
on
on
LBC because the presenter speaks for so long.
Yeah.
They take up like 50% of your time.
But that bothered me because I was
Yeah.
like, right now everyone was listening to that, couldn't understand a word I said because they thought I was talking too fast. Someone once kept harassing me whenever I did this particular slot on GB News where they just send me like abuse about the way I looked. They said I had bingo wings.
What?
Bingo wings, like fat arms, I would think they would say.
What?
They also said they didn't like my Primark fashion sense, and it was time to top up my Botox. So as long as you don't, they just felt very personal.
Yeah.
Those comments. So
yeah, I
people
mean, the
can be
hate I
mean.
get is probably closer to the mark than the stuff you I get. Do you read comments or no? So, for example, We've put out stuff of clips of this podcast. We've been doing a radio show together for at least a year, over a year now. And there's a lot of comments under there. I mean, I looked at some for this. Do you go and look or no?
No, not really.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I might, if it's got a lot of likes and a lot of comments, I might look because I feel like if the ratio is good, then like it makes me feel a bit better. But if I do look, I'll decide by the first 3 comments if I want to keep looking. Yeah. Like if they're bad, I'm just not going to do it to myself.
Yeah,
it's not
quite
good.
helpful.
It's not good for the soul.
Yeah. I had it taken off me in the election because people were like, "You don't need to stress about this."
No.
But I've gotten so much. I've gotten so much better now. It literally does not bother me.
I think you kind of like negative comments, don't you?
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
You're not the first person to say that because I'll troll them now.
A lot of men are like that.
I'll troll them now.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
this is definitely a bit of a gender divide. I got to a point on X before I left.
Yeah, you
it.
left, right?
Yeah, but I was trolling people back, because I just was like, You're just some loser. Like, you're some like nameless, faceless loser who is just spouting like usually very far right rubbish, and like I just can't be bothered with this. I'm just going to troll you back. But yeah, it depends who it's from. It depends what it is.
Yeah.
And most of the time now, I live more of a troll-free life now. I'm off X, definitely. But TikTok, I've noticed.
Do you know what? It's interesting because me and you will have conversation between shows and between radio episodes. And the other day you said something to me, because I said to you something like, have you seen all the fucking bile and vitriol about this topic? And you went, no, and you need to get off X because that's not. And I thought about that for a long time on the way home because I was like, oh, I guess now that you've come off of Twitter/X, you don't see that, which means it's not real life because you're still interacting with real people.
And there's probably people slagging me off on X, saying really horrible things about me because I still would do like GB News or I'm on the TV sometimes, but I don't see it. If I don't see it, I don't care. You're right, it's not real.
If a tree does fall,
I don't care.
But yeah, I've gotten to the point because it doesn't bother me at all. Although a recent comment on one of our videos got to me, which we'll get to. But it doesn't at all bother me.
No.
Yeah.
But having said all this, we're now going to subject ourselves to
Yeah, so I've pulled up
Okay.
some comments that people have left under our videos or under clips that we've put out. And I want to react to them. I think they're all negative, although there are some positive ones out there, which I think there's definitely one that was under a recent video that I really, really liked.
Okay.
And we'll react to them. I'll give you the first one.
I'm so scared.
It's about you. This is from Love Labour's Lost.
Okay.
Zoe. You are, as with so many look at me lefties, missing the point. The problem, Zoe, is you. Your friends, your bubble, your media. If you change, he goes away. But obviously that is not going to happen, is it? So this is in response to a video of you ranting about Farage.
Okay.
So when the person says, if you change, he goes away.
Well, that's obviously not true.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know I exist.
He probably knows you exist now.
Yeah,
because by the way, anytime we put a video with you and Farage,
it does numbers.
Tens of thousands, yeah.
I understand that.
Are you a look at me lefty? What is it, look at me lefty? We're all look at me lefty.
I think it's just like virtue signaling, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, I thought it meant.
Look, I kind of see that person's point. It's like, well, hang on, no, I don't. Hang on, they're saying we're the problem, we're the reason so many people are going to reform because we're like all. We're looking down our noses at everyone.
And apparently we're kind of locked into our friends, our bubble, our media, which is true of everyone.
Right? And true of those lot, I think, look, obviously that taps into something which is like people are sick of what they see as like the political establishment, which is like journalists and stuff. But, leave me out of it.
So more on
I'm
Farage.
not Westminster anymore.
I do have a lot about me as well, but I'm going to start with you. So this is from Richard Childs. Weird photo. It says, all the problems that you list are largely solved with Farage's policy of stopping the population explosion, but her ideology won't let her admit it. Do you have an ideology that won't let you admit that, Farage?
No, well, he's wrong because if we did stop immigration, which I assume is what he's referring to, we wouldn't have anyone to look after lovely Richard in his old age, or I
don't know, he's particularly old, but
no, but
I mean,
when he is old.
Oh, when he's old.
Or anyone to care for him, anyone to serve him, anyone to work in the arts around him. We have a aging population, and we're in need of a lot of legal migration to set that off. And the idea that we can just put everything down to the small number of asylum seekers as well, rather than facing the fact that what we have is 14 years of austerity.
Yeah.
And there is money in this country. Just look at where it's gone. It's the rich have got richer and the poor have got poorer. It's not all just poured into like asylum hotels and asylum seekers. So,
but what I find ironic here,
do you know what, Ali? It's not ideology. It's common sense.
What? Very good. What I think is really funny is when people who are ideological, like dogmatically ideological, like Richard here is clearly, talk about your ideology not letting you see it. Like, do they not have any self-awareness?
What am I saying in the video? Am I saying?
So I think this one is where you're saying that Farage basically has no policy platform, and there's no scrutiny coming from the media about the fact that he talks about problems but doesn't offer any solutions.
It's not ideological. It's just true, right?
It's just an
like
observation.
that's just an observation.
Okay, I've got another one. This guy's got a theory. This is David C. Great
All these
white
men.
beard.
Yeah, here we go.
You will see that there's a little bit of a theme.
Yeah.
Do any of you, and I guess this is to both of us, do any of you actually think that he may have the answer to a lot of the things, but doesn't want to divulge them just yet until the actual run-up to the general election? Because, as before, his party has suggested things, and both Labour and Conservatives just dismiss it as shit emoji. But then public opinion of there's no punctuation in this.
Nice.
But then
pure stream of thought.
Yeah, but then public opinion of the same idea was huge. Then all of a sudden the Labour Party adopted it as one of their policy. But like in the past, you so-called big thinkers poo-pooed his ideas until it becomes popular. Brother David, a comma at some point would have been really helpful. It's essentially what he's saying here is, do you not think that Farage does have all these big ideas, but he's just not telling us yet until close to the election? Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Starmer is actually more left-wing than you think. Yeah. He's just saying these things to become elected, and then he got into government, and it was actually further to the right of what he was suggesting in the elections. But this is, so I think what's happening here is people are they're probably infantilized by some of the divisive elements of the hard right that have traditionally not been okay to say, like a lot of the racist stuff, a lot of the stuff on immigration, a lot of the stuff on asylum seekers, that mainstream politics, it wasn't mainstream to say 10 years ago. And because they're saying them now, they're filling in all the other gaps of all the other stuff that go, oh no, there are answers to the NHS and stuff. I'm sure Farage has them without any evidence because they're so ideologically driven on these 2, 3, 4 things.
But also, it is true that in opposition you kind of often only have to give off vibes rather than actual substantial policy. But the problem
that doesn't have to be the case.
No. But it often is the case. But the problem is that often has meant that we've just had endless continuity politics because we just get politicians who have just actually not offered any radical solutions. They've just like made the right noises, offered like a little bit of change and then not followed through, and then you get a lot of frustration. The problem with Farage is he is actually offering things that do feel quite radical, but the problem is they're so radical they could destroy our economy, they could destroy Britain's place in the world, they could destroy our moral boundaries and obligations,
pull us out of international treaties.
Relationships. Those things require, if you're going to put them out there, they require a lot of scrutiny because we need to talk about what that actually means. Or is it going to be like Farage's Brexit all over again, where we leave the EU with absolutely no plan, destroy our economy, destroy our position in Europe, destroy our relationship with ours, create the small boats crisis?
Yeah.
That's
why
do you think? No, hang on, sorry. We have learned, if we've learned anything from history, it's that you have to ask Farage exactly what he means when he makes these big, grand ideas like Brexit, because Brexit wasn't scrutinised enough. It was offered up because politicians were scared of Farage. And then what happened? We basically, it was the biggest act of self-harm. What Farage is offering again, whether it's leaving the ECHR, whether it's Doge, whatever it is, these things will have catastrophic impacts on our country. And he needs to explain why they won't. Yeah. Because as it is, they just will.
That clip's going to bang. Thank you. Let's before we move on to the next one. Do you agree with me? Why? Because
always
all of these, all of these things are true.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd like to think all of these people aren't complete morons. So why are they willing to overlook all of this stuff? Is it just because finally someone said the thing they think about? Like brown people, Muslims and things is saying out loud, so I'll forgive them on everything else and I'll overlook everything else because the thing I've always thought and believed is now finally being said out loud.
Yeah, I think it's easy, the politics of easy answers, right? It's just like, it's like that, those I saw someone on Blue Sky say today, it's like this weird one simple trick, articles that you read will,
it's like
change your life.
It's like the old do kids have them? I used to watch this one when I was up when I shouldn't have been at like 1 a.m. We used to have these shopping channels that were free. Yeah. Did you ever watch them where they would sell like you
QVC?
Yeah, and they'd sell you this one thing
that's going to change your life. Yeah. It's like that. People just, and it's always like this one simple habit will make you drop 5 kilograms in 3 weeks, and people are like, Oh my God! Well, that's what I need because
Yes,
I want to drop 5 kilograms. In
I
3
will
weeks.
drink 3 liters of prune juice.
Yeah, but it's just all bollocks,
Yeah.
right? Or it's temporary.
Do you feel sorry for them, or do you go fuck 'em?
I do, because I feel sorry. Like, I think one of the things we have to deal with is there are going to be people who want to support reform who are not far right.
Yeah.
They have declining living standards, and they feel like they
Yeah.
haven't been heard, and they feel like politicians don't take their best
That's-
interests into account.
That's the bit that's true. This
Yeah.
is why I do sometimes sympathise and empathise,
Mm.
because they haven't been heard by the political system and by politicians. That's certainly true.
Yeah.
Their anger is justified. Their economic anger is justified. Their anger at public services is justified. But what's happened is, as you've called him previously, snake oil salesman has come in and told them the reason that you're waiting longer in hospital waiting rooms are because of the Brown family next to you. The reason you can't get a job is because the Brown fellas next door are taking the jobs that you've got. The reason that you're poorer, the reason that you're living less long, the reason that society has declining standards and declining happiness is all because of this one thing.
Yeah.
And all of this is being done, by the way, in my view, to protect the elite so that they can hold on to their money. The 1% needs to distract
because
you.
the real solution is redistribution.
Yeah, but they need to distract you on that. They can't have you look at the actual problem, which is the inequality in our economic system, and the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And the easiest way to distract you is to create a boogeyman. And the reason I feel sorry is that they have been tricked, they've been bamboozled, they've been sort of fed this lie, and they're believing it because it's easy to believe, and they're being radicalized as a result.
And yeah, I mean, the idea that we've said this so many times, but the idea that Nigel Farage can really muster that kind of anger about what the average man is feeling when this man makes how much
and by the way,
was it?
when we're talking about protecting the elite and being their tool for distracting us to look at immigration instead of economic equality, what did Nigel Farage used to do as a job before politics?
He worked on. He was like a trader, wasn't he?
Citibank.
As I was just going to say, how much does he make every year just from gold bullion? He's investing it. What was it, like almost $500,000?
Does he?
Yeah. How much does he make from his GB News job?
Yeah.
This man is raking in millions.
We have to stop MPs being able to earn particularly more money. This is the bit that bothers me.
Yeah.
If they're earning more money doing another job, like, logic dictates that they put more effort into the job that's paying them. For example, when Boris Johnson had the Telegraph column and they were paying him like 200 grand to do a Telegraph column, and his salary as an MP was like 90k, which one do you think he cares more about?
Yeah, I know.
Right, particularly by people who worship money like that.
Well, these people also, they see political jobs as just like another thing to add to their CV. Like, it just strengthens the case for when they become like a £1 million per year consultant and
they do the
10
after
years
dinner
later.
speeches.
Yeah.
Does he still do Cameo?
Farage, I think so, yeah.
Okay, for when this episode comes out. So at this moment, you may get a cut. I'm going to try and hire him to do a cameo, like, about the show or about you. Like wishing you happy birthday or something. Okay, so if you saw a cut there, that was because I hired him.
You should have saved that for my birthday.
Ah, shit.
Anyway,
when is your birthday? Remember?
In May.
Oh, okay, that's so far away. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll.
Someone did say to me the other day, "You'll be sorry when you're the first. You're on the first flight out of here when he deports you, when he becomes."
Who,
Prime Minister."
Farage?
Yeah.
Fuck me, if you're deported, where am I going?
Yeah, but I've been like.
And also, where would he send you?
Well, exactly. But I've been like so gobby about him recently.
Yeah.
Like
I
must be on the deport list.
This is why when you say he doesn't know who I am, he definitely. If the numbers are to believe, if you're deported, imagine how fucked I am. Where would he send you? Where are your family origin? German, right?
German.
Yeah. Going to Germany.
Yeah.
Hamburg.
That'd be all right, to be fair.
If you're being deported, I'm being sent to fucking El Salvador. Like they were planning. So Cam, I want to talk about this because I learned something on the radio last night. Apparently, caring about women's rights and children is far right, and this is in relation to conversations around this growing theory that immigrants are threats
to women and girls,
white women and girls, young white, particularly young British white women, and it's growing, this idea, and we're getting lots of comments underneath about how we don't care about women and girls. Yesterday we did and I'm dating the episode a little bit, but by the time this comes out it'll be a few weeks. We did an episode where we had a guest on, Stella Tandecchio. I forget her name. I can't pronounce her name. And she told us that at least 50 women have been killed as a result of domestic violence because they were failed by the risk assessment service that the Metropolitan Police and the police nationally are using. And that's 50 from 10 police stations,
Yeah.
so it's much more. Why don't we ever hear these guys talking about that if they actually care about women and
Or
girls?
collapsing rape convictions, or domestic violence shelters closing, or the fact that you are far more likely to be murdered by a partner or ex-partner or a family member than you are anyone who's not
And
near
how
to you.
the highest proportion of people arrested at these far-right protests that are protesting to keep women and girls safe, supposedly, were domestic...
Over 40% had spent domestic violence, had been arrested for domestic violence.
Yeah.
And that went up to 60% in some areas.
So is it possible they don't care about women and girls?
I think they have a very selective appreciation for the issue of Borg when it comes to, as you say, men of colour, immigrant men, foreign nationals.
Because it just seems like there's no rules in politics anymore. You can politicise.
You know what that's rooted in?
No.
It's the oldest white supremacist trope in the white supremacist trope box, right?
Yeah.
It's literally, white women are needed by white men to repopulate the white race. So they belong to white men. They have a purpose. So white men have to protect them.
And black and brown men are
black or
threats.
brown man, has their way with a white woman, that is a threat to the white race. It is a white supremacist trope. That is why Nigel Farage, as I've said before, didn't care when it was Wayne Couzens or Carl Clifford.
Yeah.
He wasn't justifying mass civil disobedience on a wide scale, which is what he said at the Epping protests. He only cares when it's a very specific type of man and a very specific victim. And I think,
and he's willing. It's probably the most disgusting thing I've seen in my political lifetime is politicizing sexual assault, sexual abuse of minors to advance your racist political cause.
And the fact that he was happy to have a man in his party serving as an MP, James McMurdoch, who had a spent criminal conviction for kicking his ex-girlfriend.
He's now been suspended by
5
reform,
times.
but not for that.
And Nigel Farage, when questioned about that, said it was irrelevant.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's a good role model to wayward young men.
Yeah.
I mean, why is that one okay and actually make someone a good role model, whereas if you are an immigrant man, absolutely not. Simply by the fact that you are an immigrant man coming to this country, you should be sent away because we're going to presume you are a threat. The other thing I really want to say, because I feel like it hasn't got as much discussion, is we know Nigel Farage has spoken about rolling back abortion term limits. We know that Reform don't like the Employment Rights Bill and have voted against it. We know that they want to remove us from the ECHR. They want to replace it with a Bill of Rights. I would say to women and girls who think that that doesn't affect them, do you really trust that man, the man who's praised Andrew Tate as an important voice for young men, to enshrine your rights to be free from domestic violence, abortion rights, to be free from harassment at work? Do you really think he is going to enshrine those rights in law?
Do you want him to be the one that's writing the Bill of Rights?
Yeah. Do you want him to be in charge of making sure that your rights, when we leave the ACHR, when we leave the Refugee Convention, do you really think he's going to put your best interest at heart?
What about the women who are on these protests? Surely, because there's a lot of women.
But women do have a function, not just a function, and this is talking particularly about the far right, but women's function is not just one of continuing the continuing the white race. Yeah. It is also, they have had in history important organisational functions. So there have been key women in far right groups for a long time. They are organisers. They print out the flyers. In some cases, they run it. There was it Jada Smith? She was in charge of Britain First, co-leader.
Yes, yeah.
There was the woman, I've forgotten her name, is very close to Tommy Robinson. There are prominent, and you're like, how can that be? Because white supremacy involves not only racial supremacy but also like gendered supremacy. Like these women pretty much always are like seen as below men on the totem pole. But there is this internalization of obviously racism, which they believe like I'd rather be protected by a white man than be subject to a man of colour.
Should we talk about some of my comments?
Yeah. But that's all I got. I didn't get anyone saying I had bingo wings.
You didn't get any not that I saw. Not bingo wings is crazy. I mean, someone said, "Look at me, lefty," but
that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, someone else said, "Look at me, lefty."
Yeah.
That must be like a new phrase that's doing the rounds.
Yeah, because it was also put in quotation marks. But no one. What was the other thing? Too much. But you look what do they say to you? Wings, Botox, and...
I needed more Botox.
Oh, you needed more Botox?
Oh, I needed to get Botox.
Okay.
And they didn't like my Primark fashion sense.
I think you have a really
my
good
top was from
fashion
Uniqlo. Thank you.
You've worn the coolest shoes I've ever seen. You did an episode in those red shoes. I really like those.
Yeah.
Right, here's some of mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is at Netty 127244056.
Nice. Okay, so real person. Yeah.
Stupidity in the UK is an epidemic, and yet here you are. Because I said stupidity in the UK. Is an
and yet
epidemic,
here you are.
which I believe in, by the way. I don't think, not to be an elitist, I'm the furthest thing from elitist, but I do think there is an epidemic of stupidity in this country, particularly with the political class.
There's a willful ignorance.
Like,
and
can
definitely.
we bring back the requirement of intelligence from our political figures? Because if you just look at face at Lee Anderson, at Rupert Lowe, I'm not going to include Nigel Farage in this, but like people like a load of the Conservative Party, some of the they're so stupid.
Liz Truss.
Liz Truss is top of
she
the
made
poll.
Prime Minister.
Stupid.
She was Prime Minister.
They're just dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so he said, and
stupidity in the UK is an epidemic, and yet here you are, Ali.
But that makes it sound like.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
No. He's saying that I'm stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, fair enough.
But he did have a very cute kitty in his profile picture. Which
not as cute
Poor
as
cat.
Wanda.
No. It's England. Accept it or leave it.
Okay.
Should I accept it or leave it? Depends if Farage gets elected. Well, it sounds like you're going to get deported as well.
Yeah,
so are you
it's
accepting
fine.
it or leaving it?
Yeah. If Farage is Prime Minister, I guess we'll just leave it. Yeah.
So Irish Patriot 91.
He sounds nice.
It's not your country.
Oh.
And it's the flag of the nation. You didn't put it up for flying a pedo Pakistani flag.
Oh.
Flag.
Flag.
I can't even speak the language.
Yeah, you don't even know what they're called.
So Irish Patriot tells me England is not my country.
No. Yeah.
And because I was talking about putting the flag, the whole. Also, I am not from Pakistan.
No.
And I've never been to Pakistan.
No.
And none of my family are from Pakistan.
No.
So my Irish Patriot friend is really missing the point here. I get a lot of Pakistan stuff. People think I'm
Really?
from Pakistan. Do you think
I think there's a lot of
just assumption.
anti-Pakistan. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that, but I think there's a lot of anti-Pakistan feeling.
Yeah.
Anti-Pakistan phobia on the back of like all the grooming gang stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of that, don't you, on social media?
I'm getting a lot of these right now, so I will talk about this one. Ex-Martian 1 says, or Ex-Martian 0 in the thing. You shouldn't be worried about this issue. This is me talking about the rise of the far right. You shouldn't be worried about this issue. This is a matter for the British public. Your opinion is welcomed in Pakistan, though. I'm sure they have a lot of issues they require assistance with.
Why would you imagine? Actually, the Pakistani government want you, Ali.
Yeah. I'm not
An
from
Iranian man, yes.
I really enjoy that. Because let me
interesting.
tell you why that's a top tier comment. Because he didn't go just straight up racism.
Yeah.
He went, it's okay, my friend. We don't need you. Go deal with your own people.
I mean,
by the way, I'm
it is interesting that Pakistan is coming up so much.
a lot, yeah. They all think I'm Pakistani. Even though, like, if you go through my feed, it's very clear that I'm originally Iranian.
What I've realised is these people don't do their research.
No.
Right? I used to think when I was on X, I used to get so much hate all the time.
Well, a lot of people think you're Jewish on it.
Yeah, a lot of people thought I was Jewish because of my surname and my Jewish heritage, but I'm not actually Jewish. But I used to get a lot of hate all the time. And I felt like people were like searching me up, and I got like a bit scared. And I was like, "What if someone like really?" Because actually, since leaving X, nobody ever
Has anyone ever come up to you?
No.
And I no, that's not true. Well, people come up to you and say positive things. I was once with you when someone came up to you at Labour conference and said, I remember it because it was such a good line. No, they said you were distractingly either beautiful or sexy.
What?
Yeah. So we were at Labour Party conference,
What?
and you had just done a panel,
right?
and this old lady came up to you, and she went, "You're distractingly beautiful," she said to you. And I remember going,
"Oh my god,
that's the best thing I've ever heard someone say to another human being."
I can't believe I didn't say that in my mind. That's
I was stood right next to you when she said it, and you were like, "Oh my god, thank you, very nice, buddy." You were like, "Thank you so much." But has anyone ever come
I
up
did
to you?
think if someone had said distractingly sexy, that would be incredibly inappropriate.
It was an old woman though. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember because I was like, "What a lie."
Yeah.
Has anyone come up to you and said negative things before? I get it all. I do get it all the time.
No.
No.
No. Thank God.
I've had death threats through the door.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really?
So I had one where we had a rally coming up, and I said something like billionaires shouldn't exist. I'm one of those. And the Sun ran it, and then someone wrote like, we know where you live or whatever, we're going to get you, whatever.
We the billionaires.
And but I came home and it was on the floor.
Oh
like,
my
you know
God.
when someone slips a letter,
Yeah.
not through the letterbox,
Yeah.
but under the door.
Yeah.
And I opened it and I went, huh, closed it, put it away. And then I showed it to one of my, that day, one of my guys came over and we were just chatting. And I was like, look at what I got. And he went, Ali, there's not a postmark or,
Yeah.
or an address on this. Someone's walked up to the door and put that through the door.
Yeah.
And then I called another one of my friends, Yusuf, shout out. And I went, just out of curiosity, we've got this rally coming up tomorrow, and there's going to be like hundreds of people there. What if someone fucking shows up and wants to stab me? Like, just walks up to the stage. Do we have any security? Because he was helping organize. I was like, do we have any security measures? What if someone wanted to come stab me? What would happen? And he went, you'd probably get stabbed. And I went, thanks very much.
Yeah, because you don't have any like
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as a politician, you're probably. I mean, it does. Journalists do get.
So, can I interrupt one
stuff.
more story?
Yeah.
Someone showed up to a different rally with weapons in their bag,
Mm.
like baseball bat, whatever. I don't remember what it was. But this motherfucker is so stupid. He showed up 45 minutes early to the rally wearing a massive Union Jack shirt. And so the police were doing a sweep and they went, that guy,
Yeah.
come here. Anyway, you were
Jesus.
saying.
That's quite scary. So I've done events with Hope Not Hate before where they always have to do like a sweep because the far right kind of just follow them around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think there's like a couple of guys who.
There's conspiracy theories about them as well.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
Hope Not Hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like a government, like a CIA funded thing. I've seen it online.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Right.
Not
yeah.
CIA, sorry, MI6.
Yeah.
Wrong.
But no, I mean, I've never had anything like that. I did have one person who would incessantly email me negative things, but they
Email
did,
you?
Yeah,
Right.
they did stop.
How do they find your email?
Well, so because you can like.
Oh, you can just Google it.
Yeah, you
Right.
can commission me. So I.
And you've
did
got a
at
very
work.
unique name, so
Yeah.
people can find you quite easily.
But one of my favorites, I used to have this guy who would message me a lot on Instagram, like all the time. Very nice, and I think was probably messaging quite a lot of people. But I ended up blocking them just because it got quite incessant. But one day they were watching me on Sky News and they filmed themselves watching me on Sky News and they were just like, "Oh, Zoe, oh, I don't like that shirt. It's not your colour, love." like that.
I find that so much more
just
violating than someone trying to kill me.
I know. I was like,
like,
and to be fair,
So-
I've never worn that shirt since. He was
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
right.
fucking
It
throw
wasn't.
it away.
It was a colour I'd never wear.
oh, so his analysis wasn't wrong.
It
It's
was
the
a
way he did it.
texture I would never wear. It was
Yeah.
like a shiny, burnt, like rust coloured shirt. He was absolutely spot on. I'm watching it back through my phone, through his phone. I was like, he's right.
He's right.
He's right.
He just did it. In the
yeah.
Right, a couple more.
Yep.
There was a lot of. I tell you what. So I'm going to read some of these comments out. You know, I did a clip with LBC that was around with Sarah Pochin, and it was around this idea of the rich leaving. So her point was, if you push rich people and the billionaires too far, they'll leave the country.
yeah.
Which, by the way, has been debunked anyway. But I said to her, well, you might as well just look at the camera as a politician who sits in the highest like legislative chamber and say you're being held hostage by the billionaires.
Yeah.
Did really well, like almost 1 million views. But there are thousands of comments under the video of like people on minimum wage, I imagine,
Yeah.
or like average wages,
Accusing you of being jealous. Yeah.
and defending the billionaires. Listen to this. But you can only push people earning £500,000 a year so far. These people are really struggling to make ends meet and just to stay afloat. I thought it was like a joke, but then I
because-
went through the comments and the fucker was being serious.
Oh God.
You can only push people who are earning £500,000 a year so far.
Yeah, my heart bleeds for them. It really,
Yeah.
really does.
Let's talk about one that we got on our YouTube recently.
Yeah.
Under the politics of weddings. So I'm going to bring it up. So we actually got a really positive one. I don't want to just do negative ones. So someone wrote, great podcast. Definitely weddings are too expensive. Totally agree. I think the value of commitment is so important and needs to be stressed to people. The grass will always look greener on Instagram, but we need to embrace a political partner's flaws or potential partner's flaws. Obviously within reason. It's good for the community, etc. And this person wrote, I'm extremely progressive in general, but probably marriage relationships is that one area that I'm a little bit more conservative in. I thought that was a nice comment.
Fair enough. Because I think what we were trying to do was marry up trying to live your like progressive values, but also weddings and the politics that throws up often do come into conflict with that, especially for women.
Yeah. So this next one.
Yeah.
This one, I tell you, comments don't get to me. This one irritated me a little bit, and I'll explain why. I was linked here from the R Feminism subreddit. So, like, was surprised by the superficiality of the conversation. It's almost all about weddings and barely engages with the topic of, bold, marriage at all. In particular, the question of marriage versus unmarried cohabitation. What I see as the primary reason for marriage in a feminist context, providing economic security for the less economically active partner, which is usually the women in a straight relationship, is mentioned briefly around the 50-minute mark, only to be hand-waved without any real engagement. Several broad problems for married versus single women are brought up, but all seem to be like they could be better described as problems for women in a cohabiting relationship. Now, first of all, fair enough if you've been linked here from our feminism. I don't think we did that. We did put it in the weddings subreddit for people to see, but we didn't. I don't think we put it on the feminism one. The reason this got to me, it's almost all about weddings. The episode is called The Politics of Weddings.
So they're angry at us for not making
it about
for not making an episode that they wanted to hear.
And I'm happy to do an episode on marriage.
Maybe we could do one on marriage.
But this fucked me off because it says it's almost all about weddings and barely engages with the topic of marriage. It's called The Politics of Weddings.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. And first of all, let me just make something clear. Look, by the way, I'm not too annoyed at the person commenting, like, because she didn't make I assume it's a she, I don't know why. They didn't make a personal comment, fair enough, about, like, the conversation and if you'd come here from the feminism subreddit or whatever. But part of what we're doing with this podcast and with this whole channel is we want it to be an easier entry point for people who aren't necessarily fully engaged in conversation and topic. So we didn't want it to be
a feminist critique of marriage.
Yeah, or like an academic conversation, which should be had. And there's lots of channels, like Navarro do really good academic stuff on, like, progressive left-wing politics, for example, that people should go subscribe there. But we didn't want it to be that. No. That's why it got to me, because I was like, the argument is fair enough, but you're just in the wrong place.
I think don't worry about that. I think don't worry about that person. They came wanting something and they were annoyed they didn't get it, but they could get it somewhere else if only they bothered to look.
But didn't you just read the title of that? I don't know.
I know.
That gets me far more than fucking Pakistani pedo flag.
Be cross with the person who put it in the feminism subreddit.
Yeah,
that wasn't us.
General advice. We're running out of time, so. What advice would you give to people who are getting shit in their comment section? Switch it off.
Switch it off.
It's not real.
Turn it off. When you get your first pile on, it's always absolutely awful.
Yeah.
But it is so true. Like, there's another alternative universe where, say, someone might be piling on me on Reddit right now, and I would never know because I'm not going to search myself on Reddit.
Yeah.
And it's never going to reach me any other way.
Yeah,
so,
I did for the first time. So I, as we were posting, I think it was the Superman thing that I put out on Reddit because I didn't know Reddit existed. So it was advised to me, if you want to get the word out, stick it on Reddit. And I found a couple of entire Reddit threads dedicated to me.
Really?
Yeah,
saying what?
Hundreds of comments. One was actually really interesting. It was around the anti-Semitic stuff that came out about me, the tweets that I from when I was very young. And this person had written, I don't know if I can vote for my Labour candidate because of these completely fair enough. And there was an entire conversation underneath it where people were talking about, well, he's apologised. Here's some things that he said. He actually wrote it. I actually did write an article about it before it came out. And I read the whole thing, and I really, it kind of reaffirmed my faith in humanity because people were having a really reason. So the person's critique was absolutely reasonable, because if I had seen the same thing said by another politician about Muslims, I would have felt the same way. But the entire conversation was really reasonable. About and the one comment I saw from someone that really stuck with me when they were talking about, like, British values and stuff was, forgiveness is as much a British value as tolerance is. And so if someone's made a mistake, like, and they've openly admitted to it and taken steps. So I thought that was really, really good.
I do think Reddit has a more, like, convivial, more understanding, more willing to, like, see different perspectives. Like, when on most subreddits or like most political subreddits, that is my feeling. Like, it's more nuanced. X, don't even bother.
But
if someone starts piling on you X, just, like, don't even bother. Because
you say that, but there was a second subreddit of me, or a Reddit of me, where it was crazy.
Were they different on different subreddits?
Different subreddits, yeah. One was, like, just insane racism, but also the bit that tripped me out was there was a whole section where they were having a conversation about where I went to school. And one person was like, oh, the reason he's like this is he went to this school and he knew this teacher. None of it's true.
Oh, really?
Like,
so people just
it's just made up. Like, I didn't even grow up in that area, right? And it was just so, it was like an out-of-body experience watching people talk about where you grew up.
Yeah, I mean, I had this on X.
From 6-7 years ago. No one cares who I am now. But
I had this on X when somebody basically said, just like posted a clip of me, this anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, right-wing, far-right account, posted a clip of me saying, this Israeli dual national...
You're not a dual
national. No, and it was the great replacement theory stuff. They were like, this Israeli dual national, you can literally hear her saying here how she wants to bring over Palestinian refugees in order to replace the white population in the UK. I was just on GB News saying, like, the question was, like, should we take Palestinian refugees? And I was like, yeah, like, we should take any refugees from any country.
Yeah. The one thing they said I was an Israeli dual national. Like, that was totally made. Like, where the hell did that come from? Just assumptions based on your name.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think your name sounds particularly.
Well, it is a Jewish name, but that doesn't mean I'm Israeli.
Yeah.
And dual national is very specific.
But that's the anti-Semitism of just assuming everyone who's Jewish is either Israeli or pro-Israel. Or that sort of stuff. I will ask a question though, because you said we did talk about just switch it off, but these people exist out there. Do we not need to know? No,
because they if they do that to you, they do it to loads of people, and they're just like, I don't know about you, I've never sat in my room and piled on like somebody on social media. These people, probably several accounts will be all related to the same person. Some of them might even be Russian bots. Remember? Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
You don't actually know the real people, and if they are, they're pretty fucking sad. Like, sorry to the guy who sends me abuse about my arms at 8 p.m. on a Friday when he's watching GB News. Like, why are you watching GB News at 8 p.m. on a Friday?
Get out there,
man. Go see some real women and look at their arms.
What do the kids say? Go touch grass.
Yeah, go touch grass.
That's a very good place to end the episode. Leave a comment, ironically enough, under the episode. Although don't talk about Zoe's arms and don't talk about Pakistani flags, please. Like the video, share. We're going to continue to react to most of your comments, so I guess also leave those under there. Subscribe to the channel. Got loads more content coming your way, including a big new social experiment episode that's going to be coming soon, so keep an eye out on that. And the best way to do is to subscribe to the channel, click that little bell so you know when new videos drop, and share this with all your friends, family, and corner shop boss man. I'll see you on the next episode of the Politics of Podcast. Peace.